I'm Silja from Norway, and this is my testimony of how God freed me from the good girl syndrome through Apostle Catherine Crick's ministry and 5F Church. So what is the good girl syndrome? Well, for me it was perfectionism and a deep feeling of not being good enough no matter how well I performed in all areas. It also involved people pleasing and problems setting healthy boundaries, and often issues when making huge decisions. So I grew up with faith in Jesus, but my parents were not Christians. And when I searched out the church in my teenage years, unfortunately I met the religious spirit, and that actually scared me away from church for many years. Even to the point that I started resenting Christians because I often found them to be judgmental and with a double standard. Even though I lived in the world for many years, I always had this deep longing for God, and I understood that I was believing some lies about myself, and I tried really hard to change that, but I just wasn't able to. So in my 20s, God intervened and I got radically saved, and my life changed forever, and everything I wanted from that day was to totally surrender to God's plan for my life. But after a while, I noticed that this good girl syndrome was still there, and it was holding me back from going totally into what God was calling me to. When I talked to other Christians about it, I was told that spiritually everything is fine. All you have to do is to do more of the Christian activities like praying, fasting, studying the word, serving, and I did a lot of that. But I still felt like I had this prison in my mind. Then I tried transformational coaching, did a lot of coursing and seminars, read a lot of books, learned all the transformational techniques, but all I ended up with was being more exhausted. So I cried out to God for years about this. And finally, in the end of 2021, God led me to Apostle Catherine Crick online. And when I found her, my spirit leapt. So I joined 5F Church, really planted myself there, and then my faith grew and my spiritual eyes opened up. When I joined the services online, I could just feel that God's presence was filling my living room, and at several occasions, I felt like something just broke off inside of me. And after a short period of time being planted, I noticed that all the lies were gone. I was totally free. And the result is amazing. I've grown so much in the spiritual realm. I don't feel held back anymore. I don't have people pleasing or perfectionism anymore. I feel God's love so much stronger, and I'm able to love God and other people on a completely different level. And I'm able to receive from God now. I always wanted to receive more from God, but the feeling of not being worthy was too strong. But that's completely gone now too. I have a totally new level of peace inside, and no lies distracting me anymore. As long as I can remember, I've tried to get rid of this good girl syndrome. But what I've learned is that when the roots are spiritual, as they often are, true transformation comes by the anointing, the power of God. I thank God for Apostle Catherine Crick, for her willingness to sacrifice so much to walk into her calling as an apostle, and for her humble and pure leadership, just like Jesus. I thank God for my 5F family and for all the people that have experienced transformation and been willing to share their testimonies so that my faith and other people's faith can grow, so that more people can walk into freedom and go into the calling that God has for them. I thank Jesus for the transformation in my life. I thank Jesus for what He's about to do in His church in this revival. I believe it's just in the beginning, and I'm so grateful to be part of this. Thank you so much.